Your lesson essential question is, how do you make picture graphs? So today we're going to be making picture graphs based on data that is given to us. You learned yesterday about picture graphs. You learned that there's a title at the top telling what data is being shown. You learned that there's a key at the bottom showing how much each picture equals. And you learned that the data is represented using pictures. We're going to be using a table that looks like this to collect data and analyzing the data that way and then turning it into a picture graph. Let's take a look at this table. Sam recorded the number of each kind of bicycle a store sold during 1 month. He made a frequency table. Use the table to make a picture graph. So this is a frequency table and it shows how frequently something happened. It's showing us how frequently a specific type of bike was sold. You can also collect data with a survey by asking people questions. So maybe you want to make a picture graph about people's favorite food. So you might give them a survey asking them if they like pizza or tacos better. Back to the frequency table. We see road bikes have 10 tallies, so there are 10 road bikes that were sold. Every time a track bike was sold, they made a tally. 5, 10, 15, 20. There were 20 track bikes sold. Training bikes, 5, 10, 15. Racing bikes, 5, 10. After you've collected your data, it's time to draw your picture graph. Write a title for your picture graph. So if you look at Sam's picture graph, the title is Kinds of Bicycles Sold. Choose a symbol for the key. Decide what each whole symbol and half symbol will represent. So looking at Sam's picture graph, he chose triangles as his pictures. Each full triangle means 10 bicycles. Each half triangle means 5 bicycles. A half symbol is used to represent 5 bicycles because 5 is half of 10. Last, you're going to set up your graph and list the kinds of bicycles. Decide how many symbols you need for each number of bicycles sold. Draw the symbols. Looking back at my data in my frequency table, I see there were 10 road bikes sold. So Sam drew just one triangle. Why would Sam draw just one triangle if there were 10 bikes sold? Because one triangle equals 10. Then I see that Sam drew 2 triangles for track bikes because each triangle equals 10, 10, 20, and that's how many track bikes he sold. Why is there a half triangle next to training bikes? There's a half triangle because they sold 15 training bikes. So one full triangle is 10, and then we need 5 more, so we put half of a triangle. And then racing bikes, they sold 10, so there's 1 triangle. Let's collect some data that we're familiar with and make a picture graph out of that. Let's talk about classrooms per grade level at Palmview. So I'm not thinking about e-learning, I'm just thinking of actual classrooms. So first, let's collect our data. Let's think about how many of each grade level there is on campus, and then we'll turn it into a picture graph. So kindergarten, we have Miss Murphy, Mr. Cordero, Miss Carter, and Captain Gleason. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's think about first grade. Miss Severo, Miss Leverance, and Miss Newsom. So there are 3 first grade teachers. In second grade, we have Miss Ciano and Mr. Clark. So there are 2. Third grade, we have Miss Deans. We have Miss Ingram, Miss Rickenbrode, and we have Miss Cheney. So there's 4 third grade teachers. In 4th grade, Miss Graham, Miss Knott, and Miss George. 3. And then in 5th grade, we have Mrs. English and Miss Pierce. So 2. So you saw that I made tallies as I was thinking and collecting my data. And then next to my tallies, I totaled them and I wrote the number of how many. Now let's turn it into a picture graph. The first thing I need to do is label my graph, give it a title. So I'm calling it Classrooms per Grade Level at Palmview. Then I need to decide what kind of picture do I want to use. I'm going to use this panther, and I'm going to make each panther equal 2 classrooms. Now let's take a look at my data. Kindergarten, there are 4 kindergarten classrooms. So if each panther equals 2, how many panthers do I need to put next to kindergarten? 2, because each panther equals 2, so 2, 4. What about first grade? We have 3. Now, I can put 1 panther, that's 2. If I put another whole panther, that would equal 4, and that's too many. So what should I do? We've got to put half of a panther. Half of a panther would equal 1. Second grade, 1 panther equals 2. There's only 2 teachers, 2 classrooms. Third grade, we have 4, 2, 4. Fourth grade, again, 2 and half is 3. And then fifth grade, there's 2. So you're going to be using these steps today to analyze frequency tables and turn them into picture graphs on your own.